£800. That's roughly what HMRC took off a man I sat with just last month, after he pulled £10,000 out of his pension. He was owed almost every penny of it back. He had no idea, and nobody at HMRC was ever going to call him to explain why. Welcome back to Pension and Benefits Guide, the channel that cuts through the confusing letters and silence from HMRC, so you know exactly what you're owed in retirement. Here's what nobody tells you on the day you retire. While you were working, pay quietly handled your tax in the background. Every payday, the right amount was taken and sent off, and you never had to think about it. The moment you stop working, that system stops with you, and nobody sends the replacement instructions. You might assume HMRC just sorts it out automatically. They don't. I spent 8 years inside HMRC's Pensions and Investments Compliance Unit, and later helped write the internal guidance inspectors used. I'm not on the payroll anymore, so I can finally tell you the things I wasn't allowed to say before. There are 8 things HMRC expects you to handle the moment you stop work, and none of them arrive in a letter. First, tell HMRC you've stopped working. Your tax code is built from data your employer or pension provider sends in, and when you retire, that flow changes, often for months before HMRC catches up. Here's the part almost nobody explains: your state pension is taxable, but it's paid with nothing taken off at source. HMRC collects what you owe on it by quietly adjusting the tax code on your private pension instead. Get that wrong, and you're either overpaying every month, or building up a debt that lands as a shock bill next summer. Call HMRC, or use your personal tax account, and say, I've recently retired, and I want to make sure my tax code reflects all my pension income correctly. That sentence triggers a proper review, not a quick patch. Which brings me to the tool that makes everything easier, your personal tax account, free on gov.uk, ready in about 10 minutes with your national insurance number and a P60 or payslip. This is where you check your tax code, your state pension forecast, your NI record, and update your address if you've moved. If you take one thing from this video, set this up. Everything else gets easier from here. Second, your state pension. It does not arrive automatically, it has to be claimed. This is the single biggest misunderstanding I see. The DWP sends an invitation letter around 4 months before you reach state pension age. Ignore it, and your pension simply defers, which can be a smart choice, but shouldn't be an accidental one. The full new state pension this year is around £241 a week, roughly £12,548 a year, and you need 35 qualifying NI years for the full amount, 10 to get anything at all. Claim online using your invitation code, or call the pension service on 0800 731 7898 if you're within 3 months of pension age and no letter has arrived. Payment lands within about 5 weeks. I once met a man at a PensionWise session, call him Brian, who assumed his pension would just appear. It didn't, because he'd never claimed it. He didn't lose money in the end, since claims get backdated, but he'd planned his finances around cash that was never coming. Don't be Brian. Third, and this is where HMRC silence costs people real money. When you take your first flexible withdrawal from a pension, a SIPP, a personal pension, a workplace scheme, your provider usually doesn't have your correct tax code yet. So they apply an emergencies month 1 code, assuming you'll withdraw that same amount every month all year. A one-off £10,000 withdrawal gets taxed as if you're about to receive £120,000. A 60-year-old drawing £10,000 with no other income that month could see around £2,800 taken in tax, when the real bill is close to nothing. I saw this every week in my old job. The rule causing it is written down, and so is the fix, but people fall through the gap between the two. The fix is one of 3 forms: P55 if you'll take more this year, P50Z if you've entered the pot with no other income, P53Z if you've entered it but still have other income like your state pension. All 3 go through your personal tax account, with a stated 30-day turnaround. HMRC repaid over £44 million to more than 13,000 pensioners in just the first 3 months of this year alone, and that's only the people who knew to ask. If this is useful, hitting subscribe genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need it, and I'd love to know in the comments which of these 8 surprised you most. Fourth, your allowances stack higher than most people realize. Beyond the £12,570 personal allowance, there's the starting rate for savings, up to £5,000 of interest tax-free, though it shrinks pound for pound once your other income passes the personal allowance, plus the personal savings allowance of £1,000 for basic rate taxpayers. Stack all three together, and someone on a lower income can earn up to £18,570 completely tax-free. Take Eileen, an £11,000 state pension and £600 in savings interest, total income £11,600, tax bill 0. But here's the trap, HMRC estimates your savings interest using last year's figures. If you were taxed on interest when rates were higher and have since moved that money into an ISA, your tax code might still be punishing you for income you no longer have. Call 0300 200 3300 and ask them to remove the savings income adjustment from your current code. Fifth, marriage allowance, the one that genuinely frustrates me. If one partner earns under £12,570 and the other is a basic rate taxpayer, the lower earner can transfer £1,260 of their allowance across, saving up to £252 a year. You can backdate for years, meaning a first-time claim could be worth over £1,000. Around 2.4 million eligible couples have never claimed it, even though HMRC's own records show exactly who qualifies. Apply free through gov.uk, the lower earner must make the claim, and avoid third-party sites that take a huge cut of your refund for doing something simple yourself. Sixth, the simple assessment, Form PA 302. Around 140,000 pensioners get one each year, often because their state pension alone has crept above the personal allowance. The figures are frequently estimates, especially savings interest, so you have 60 days from the date on the letter, not the day you open it, to dispute anything wrong. Miss that window, and you lose the right to challenge it. Open these letters the same day, and check every figure. And finally, the one I'd want you to share with people you love. From the 6th of April, 2027, unused defined contribution pensions will be brought into your estate for inheritance tax, ending a rule that stood since 2015. This is expected to affect around 8% of estates. Pension assets passing to a spouse remain exempt, but children and other beneficiaries do not. The nil rate band stays at £325,000 per person, plus £175,000 residence nil rate band if your home passes to a direct descendant, meaning a couple could pass on up to £1 million tax-free. Above that, it's 40% or 36% if at least 10% goes to charity. Gifting allowances help too, £3,000 a year, £250 in small gifts to anyone, and larger amounts for weddings. I'm a retired civil servant, not a financial advisor, so for proper planning, speak to a regulated advisor, and book a free pension-wise appointment if you have a defined contribution pension. Every one of these 8 things has the same thing in common, HMRC doesn't chase you for them. Tell them you've retired, set up your personal tax account, claim your state pension, reclaim emergency tax, stack your allowances, claim marriage allowance, check your simple assessment, and start the inheritance conversation now. Pick one, and start there. Let me know in the comments which of these 8 caught you off guard, and if this helped, there's another video that could be even more useful to you next. Take care of yourselves, and take care of your money.